West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Learn more at esfcu.com. Text or call the number 620-342-2336 to get started today. ESFCU is the Shovix banking of choice, federally insured by the NCUA. This episode of West War Room Rivals is brought to you by JBW Solutions Industrial Safety Services, your remote safety partner no matter where work takes you. From the job site to the office, JBW Solutions brings OSHA 10 and 30 training, plus a full lineup of compliance services straight to your screen. Whether you're a small crew or a major operation, they make safety simple, accessible, and effective. Visit jbwsolutionsllc.com to learn more today and stay compliant wherever you are. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Field Ops. Kansas sports fields just got an upgrade with Field Ops. Looking to reserve top quality sports fields in Kansas? Whether you're organizing youth tournaments, adult leagues, or weekend pickup games, Field Ops is your go-to platform for discovering and booking the best athletic fields across the state. Instant online reservations, detailed field info such as locations, amenities, and photos. Field Ops is also trusted by coaches, organizers, and athletes. From Wichita to Overland Park, Field Ops has got you covered with real-time availability and streamlined scheduling. Get in the game at gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. That's gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals. I am your host this evening, Cody, and we have the Shovik brothers to the opposite screen. We're going to do, well, I don't think we'll do a roll call anymore, guys. I think we're good on that. But before we get started, we want to thank you guys for joining us in the JBW Solutions studio. We are so thankful for Jeff and the crew. Please go visit jbwsolutions.com to get all safety things and all community-driven stuff. They are veteran-owned, driven by the community, and are safety-focused. So we love Jeff and the crew. And he sent us some merch as we're wearing hats right now, Corey. And Austin, he got his polo. Dad said in the comments last night to, rep the stuff, and Austin obliged. So you're looking good, fellas. Welcome.
Appreciate you.
It is a very comfortable hat, I will say.
It's a really good one, too. He did say that he was taking his time on ordering them, and I can see why, man. I like this style hat, and it's comfortable. It's great time. You can wear it all year round. So this is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so we do want to say that our other compadre, Matt, he is out to sea right now doing Navy obligations. We want to wish him safe travels while he's out there doing his thing for the Navy. He will be back, I think, next week, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys can still, comment and all that stuff, show him some love and thank him for his service, because right now he's doing his duties, and we appreciate him for that. So no MILF report tonight, unfortunately, guys, but we still have the rest of the Seggies to get to tonight, as I'm sure everyone is excited for. So do you guys have anything before we get started?
No, again, Matt would love to be here more than anything. Obviously, this show means a lot to him, but he also, again, I think that goes back to the behind the scenes stuff of we still do have normal jobs. It's a little bit more non-lenient compared to ours. These are non-negotiables for him. So again, we thank him for everything he does for the show, but also being in the Navy, being a serviceman. It's big time for him. So we love having him on, but we know that he wants to be here. He'll be back next week. Yeah.
Also, last night, guys, if you guys didn't see, we did have Blaine Bishop on last night. Such a fun guy to talk to. I know that, we had a great time chit-chatting with him, and we needed, I think, more time. So hopefully he'll come back. But Austin, what did you think about last night getting to talk to Blaine Bishop?
Man, I just loved his energy, right? Like every answer he was given had passion to it, right? Like just seeing these former players, they kind of light up, right? Kind of looking back at, I don't want to say the glory days, because, a lot of them, Mr. Bishop included, still do a lot of good and can still be considered in their glory days within the community and everything. But just the passion and energy he brought with every answer, every story, some of the names he mentioned he got to play with and play against and practice with and all that. It was so fun. Really do hope we can get him back on. in a little more time because we could go forever with him.
Yeah. I think go ahead, Cory.
Just a few minutes. We had him for about 20-25 minutes last night, and it went by really, really quick. He was giving great answers, reliving some of those, the Music City Miracle, and then talking about Carl Pickens and playing against Carl and what they were able to do. So again, and then like I said during the show last night, we could have easily went through a second rundown with this guy. It was well on its way of being possibly, could have easily been a 2-hour show of just nonstop, just football talk. So thankful for him coming on here and sharing those with us. And I think these guys and what we're starting to realize with some of these former players is they love talking about those days. It's not only are they still within the community and doing their own thing, but at the same time, they're, people still want to talk to them about those days. So it is fun seeing reactions and getting their thoughts on, seeing some of the questions that we're asking and whatnot. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out, Meg. Thanks for hanging out with us. Good win, I think, on the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken, right? I forgot who they played, but they had a pretty good victory. I think a good momentum shift for them. Oh, the Commanders. That's right. That was actually a pretty big win in the NFC. So
it's crazy. They'd have one more win if Younghoe Koo could make some field goals.
Well, he ain't on the team anymore, so that might happen.
Yeah, that was the momentum shift.
I think so. I mean, I think was it you and me, Cory, or was it Austin and I? We picked the Falcons to maybe come out of the South just because it's so competitive, and I actually think the Falcons have a pretty good team, offense and defensive wise. So
I don't think it would have been me. I'm a pretty big Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans guy, so I don't think it would have been me on the Falcons. But no. I hit him in my sleeper was the Panthers, so I definitely don't think it was me. I was wrong on that one. We can just chalk that one.
Definitely wrong on the Panthers.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that Bryce Young, third year and second time he's kind of regressed like a great deal, it's kind of concerning because
how well he's picked up last year, right? Like towards the end of the season, he got benched. Andy Dalton got a couple games, and then Bryce came back in, and they actually started looking like a pretty decent offense. And then they go out and get Tet. Yeah, awesome. Dang.
That's okay.
Well,
I ride with Baker or Mike. I'll be all right.
Yeah,
you were right, Cody. It isn't easy I don't want to say easy division because I think the Bucs are pretty good, but it's clearly come down to the Bucs and Falcons. The Falcons defense has taken light years steps forward. So I think that helps, but it's going to come down to Bucs Falcons. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
Baker's hurt, but the dude's
Baker's always hurt.
Dude's a tank.
Yeah, he's not missing that game for nothing. So I mean, we'll see, man. I think the Falcons, if they can, I don't know. I like Raheem Morris as a coach. I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, whoever's calling plays. So I think
he's not.
Who?
They have probably the best set of skill players.
Right. Collection of players.
London and Pitts and Bijan. Tyler Algier is the starting running back on most teams.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Robinson's their offense coordinator, and he's actually in line to maybe take the Oklahoma State job since he's an Oklahoma State alum. And Oklahoma State's just in the dumpsters, and they don't know what to do, and no one really wants to go to Oklahoma State. So Zach Robinson, I think, from what I was seeing, was probably their top candidate for the Oklahoma State job. And honestly, I think that would be the best thing to happen for the Falcons is to again, it's easy for us to sit here and say, but they've already fired their wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard, kind of the fall guy, right? When you can just watch their games and see that Zach Robinson's just not it for what the Falcons want to do with those skill positions. You have Bijan Robinson. I get wanting to give him the ball as much as you can, but
London and Pitts.
You have London Pitts. Mooney's really good as well. And it's not good when you have a young quarterback and you're going to probably lose the OC. But again, I think it would be probably for the best.
It's still probably a couple steps up from Arthur Smith, though. I'll give him that.
I mean, Arthur Smith is now in Pittsburgh, right? I mean, the team's not looking terrible. I mean, Aaron Rodgers can't throw for more than 220 yards, but
Aaron Rodgers is running that offense. We know that.
He's installed Mike McCarthy's old offense without without Arthur Smith's approval.
Plays. Yeah.
All right. We're foreshadowing a little bit.
Like Nathaniel Hackett, they thought he was good.
No one thought he was good, except I don't know why.
Denver hired him.
Well, because they were going for Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, I guess the altitude was too much for him.
But it's those quarterbacks who call their own plays and run their own offense. Like Peyton Manning, people thought Adam Gase was good.
Yeah, no, there's no way Adam Gase was calling that. No.
And it's the same thing with Hackett. Like Rodgers is calling his plays. That's how he's always been. Same with Peyton Manning. That's why these Adam Gases and Nathaniel Hackett's of the world, like these quarterbacks are going to vouch for you because you let them do their own thing, not because you were important to them.
Right. It's kind of saddening too. Like Eric Bieniemy, I remember was a hot name for a long time and then never went anywhere. And Patrick Mahomes swore by him like, no, he's a great coach. And Bieniemy, wherever he tried to end up, but I think he was with the Commanders for a short time, couldn't turn it around. And I think it went to UCLA and that didn't work out either. So
the Commander said he was too mean of a coach, which kind of blew my mind. Like, I think that's what the Chiefs were missing. He was like the bad cop to Andy's good cop.
Yeah.
So I actually think that loss alone, like, I don't think he was calling plays and designing plays too much, but I think just his presence of like accountability and strictness was a good balance to Andy. So I think that's why it didn't work out elsewhere, but I think it just worked well with Andy.
I think teams then need to look themselves in the face. If they're not going to accept accountability, a coach that's going to hold you accountable, then you're not ready to turn your franchise around. I mean, we'll look at the Chiefs, we'll look at the Bills, and I'm just throwing out teams that have been successful getting in the playoffs. Like, they have teams that'll hold you accountable, and they don't care who you are. Like Amari Cooper, kind of when he was on the Bills, he wasn't a featured star. He was just a guy on the team, and then he didn't really contribute. And you look at the Chiefs, they don't really care what you've done. They want you to come in and help out. And that's leadership, you know, and for some reason, and I don't want to say younger generation, but it's harder to find people willing to accept accountability. So,
yeah, all these dudes are like they're brilliant when it comes to the X's and O's, right? Like, they got to that level for a reason, but like it takes more than that, right? We heard Bishop talk about Andy Reid. He played for Andy Reid for 1 year and he lit up and was like one of the greatest dudes I've ever met. Like, it takes more than just the X's and O's.
Right. Are we being called out right now for reminiscing? Is that what that is?
No. She's referencing like the players we have on talking about.
Yeah.
Got it. I was like, are we being called out for being the old guys with get off my lawn and back in our day?
Kind of possibility.
That is true. I mean, we've seen what she said about me the last few episodes. So like,
yeah, it hasn't been much. Sorry, man.
Some call outs could be happening, but I think we're ready to hit some Seggies.
Well, I've been trying to avoid it because I really don't want to talk about my Raiders, because if I have another crash out, and actually I think yesterday when we were decompressing from Blaine Bishop, I was getting heated again having to talk about it because I went through a wave of emotions on Sunday, so we'll dive into it, of course. If you guys did not watch Sunday, the Raiders lost on a blocked field goal to the Chicago Bears in Las Vegas. It was a very frustrating loss because the Raiders led for a majority of that game, and we allowed Caleb Williams to beat us, which I hate saying because I was saying here, I was standing on that hill of like, Caleb Williams is okay, but I don't think he's the guy that's going to beat the Raiders. Sure enough, he did. And it's very frustrating. I was looking through a lot of the stats, and I posted a video on the War Room page going through it, like 4 turnovers, 3 of them by Geno Smith, which he's now turning into this guy that almost every other possession you wonder if he's going to take care of the ball because he hasn't. And then we had an Ashton-Jeanty fumble, which first, I think, of his career. So it's going to happen. He's a rookie, but he balled out over 150 rushing yards. So he was definitely the reason why the Raiders were doing so well. But Geno Smith only throwing 117 yards. I think he only threw like 15 passes or 17 passes. So almost 20% of his passes were intercepted. So that is
one of the positives, though, from the Raiders, because we don't want it all dark, right?
Sure.
If anybody watched that game, and I'll let you elaborate on it, but can we just talk about Max Crosby?
Oh, yeah. Absolute beast.
He had like 7 passes. He had his first career intercept. Like,
yeah,
that dude, and I'm not trying to take shots at you here, but it is the reality. It's so sad that he has to waste away on the Raiders. like if there's one player I wish could actually have a chance for like postseason success in Super Bowls,
Right.
it's Max. But I'll let you talk about the positive. I didn't want it all to be dark. I know it's a dark time for the Raiders, but like there were some positives, and I feel like we need to remind you so you don't crash out even harder, but also point out like there are some bright spots to the Raiders team.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. From what I saw, here's a bright spot: is our run game looked a lot better. Our offensive line played a lot better. We kept Geno clean. So even though he threw interceptions, he was not sacked. Very minimal on the quarterback hits. Our defense got after Caleb Williams. Caleb post-game said that Max Crosby is the best player that he's ever gone against because he has a high motor and he will not stop.
Ever.
Like he's almost the Terminator. Like you cannot kill him. He is just going to do what he has to do and get to you. And he did. Blew up a bunch of plays, got his first career interception. And very much like what you said, Austin, I am saddened. And I think that's why I want us to win so badly is because I need Max Crosby's efforts to be rewarded with success. And I think since he's been on the Raiders since 2020, there's only 1 year of playoff success that he was a part of. And that was the 2021 season with the whole Gruden, Henry Ruggs, and eliminating the Chargers. So I desperately want Max Crosby to be successful. And he is literally the only thing that's making the Raiders function right now. Like captain on and off the field, he is that guy. And it's not hyperbole if I say that I think he's like within the top 5 of like defensive players of the year, I would say, because of what he does to offenses to have to scheme against him that changes how teams do. Max Crosby, like high motor, he just doesn't stop. So I agree. A lot of praise goes to Max Crosby and how he played. And I think it's only going to go up from here. We're only in week 4 and it feels like we haven't even seen the best version of Max. I feel like Max Crosby is going to turn it up against the Colts. I feel like as the season goes on, especially against the Chiefs, I'm really excited for that week. Is it week 7? I think is when we see the Chiefs, him and Patrick Mahomes. I'm really excited to see that matchup because it's always a good one. It's always
that old vibe to it, doesn't it? Those two.
Yeah,
just
it does.
The whole game, just those two.
Max Crosby reminds me of old school football that we obviously grew up in. When we were talking about Blaine Bishop and Cory, you mentioned to him about, Curse. I'm not saying that they're comparable. I'm just saying like just that old spirit of those old defensive backs that were relentless and they wanted to hurt you. Max Crosby is like that old soul that we have on the Raiders. So he's a bright spot. I will even say, like, again, Ashton Genty, proven doubters wrong if they called him a bust. He's for sure not a bust. Like when he has a running lane, he exploits it and he runs a great deal. It's just, we need a line that will open up those lanes for him, give him an opportunity to find the lane and go for it. But, we'll see. The Colts, I think, are going to be a tough matchup just because their defense is pretty good. Danny Dimes looks like he's on an MVP tour, so it's very interesting to see him playing well. But so the Raiders, you can't turn the ball over 4 times, allow the Bears to have 7+ minutes of time of possession more than you, and expect to win the game. And I think one of the things that's frustrating, and I talked about this on the video, and I'll close it on this, is the fact that we had a field goal block, and the way it was blocked, it wasn't an upfront block. It was such around the edge to where that defender had to run further around to get to the ball. And that end collapsed so poorly that he had enough time to come block that field goal, because that's a chip shot for Daniel Carlson majority of the time. So I think that's what I'm frustrated with. I feel like the Raiders do enough to win, but not enough to put it all together. And again, it's like the same old stuff. I'm a little calmer now because on Sunday, a lot of us Raider fans were calling for Geno Smith to be benched. I'm not on that train anymore. I'm pretty much like Geno's the best option, but also like Geno's the best option we got. Great. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to close the report on that. So
yeah. I don't think Kenny Pickett's the answer. I still think Geno's better than him, but I think with how Geno's playing now, I think it opens the door to next year's quarterback. You go into the offseason looking for quarterback maybe. But I think a few bright spots for the Raiders. Again, I'm going to reiterate Max Crosby. you guys know the graphic that I was going to post either later today or tomorrow. I almost just put Max Crosby by himself because I feel like he's equal to a duo. That's how dominant he is. But even us watching that game, Jamal Adams and Devin White, I can't get enough of that linebacker play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the Raiders are so close, but it comes down to what my brother has said a lot of times. Like, you have to learn how to win.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have been there almost every game, minus the Commanders. I think that one got away.
That one was a pure blowout, yeah.
But most of the time, even last year, like, Raiders are in a lot of games. They're competitive. You just have to learn how to win. And it hasn't happened yet, but I believe with the veteran leadership of Gino and Pete, that will come. Maybe just not as quick as we thought.
I mean, I look at it two ways. Yes, it's Max Crosby, high motor, but they kind of made an adjustment on him later on in the game, especially those last couple of drives that kind of, they were putting extra guys out there. I mean, you could just tell Max was kind of gassed. That's going to happen. I think Malcolm Kuntz actually had a really good game as well. Cody, you had mentioned last week about, where's Malcolm at? What's Malcolm going to do? I think you saw a good building piece from your defense in that game against the Bears. Are a really good offense. They haven't quite figured it out either. I do think the Bears are on that up and up. I think we're starting to see what Ben Johnson's wanting to do with that offense. You're seeing DJ Moore. You're seeing Roma Dunze having great weeks. Caleb Williams is staying upright. I still think he gets a little too erratic in the pocket at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Raiders were able to kind of exploit some of those early on. And then, again, I think with the lack of your offense and Gino turning the ball over, so what does that do? That makes your defense not get much of a breather, right? So now you're on the sideline and then you're back on the field before you know it because your quarterback throws an interception. And I always talk about Dak. Dak's stats are usually really well, but you look at his lower interception totals, but then you look at the film and you see when's he throwing those interceptions. Timing's everything. Yeah, he may not have, a ton of interceptions, but these are at the worst possible times. So while he may take care of the ball, I think we're not there with Gino, but I just look at when those interceptions are happening, when you're turning the ball over. They got to clean it up a little bit. I know Bowers is beat up a little bit, Mayer's beat up a little bit, but I mean, you can't sit there and rely on Trey Tucker the whole time. You got to get these other guys involved. You have Thornton, get him, kind of scheme him into some plays.
What about that touchdown that Gino missed to Thornton?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
on that third down, he threw it at a 5 receivers' feet.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
So, I mean, it's just those kinds of things. I mean, you're going to see those. I just don't see enough from the Raiders now to change my mind on them being, I still say 6 to 7 wins. I mean, until we see something from the offense, I don't think this is the offense that the Raiders are going to take in with them next year.
No.
And I can say that confidently right now. Is Chip Kelly part of that? I don't know. You can't continue to be in this merry-go-round of coaches, though. At some point you have to find continuity, like some of these other teams are starting to get in our division. So,
right.
It's not much else to say about the Raiders game. I mean, yes, we know Max Crosby's Max Crosby. We saw some good stuff from the defense, but we're talking another week of Geno Smith being underwhelming, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we, again, used a third-round pick to acquire him, gave him an extension. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And I know, as being obviously last season, seeing what we had in terms of quarterback, so to feel like, okay, I feel like we're heading in the right direction with a quarterback in Geno Smith that is respected around the league, and then to see how he's playing is just kind of discouraging in the sense of I feel like he knows better to not do this. And maybe it's a Chip Kelly thing. And again, I said this last week, I wasn't even that confident when Chip Kelly was signed to the Raiders because I don't think his track record in the NFL was that great. He had one good season at Ohio State with a stacked offense. I don't know if that means that he can coach it, because we've actually talked about this and we talked about this offline, ironically, which is offensive coordinators that get jobs based off of the teams that they didn't probably really coach that much. It's just the names, So
Yep.
And that could very much be like Chip Kelly is still hanging on to the success in Oregon, and we're not nearly talking enough about the collapse he had in Philadelphia or his time in the 49ers organization when they went 2-14, fired him after one season. So that's not, in my opinion, talked about enough. It's all about like what he did in Ohio State and how he resurrected UCLA, which I don't think it's really resurrected, but I think that's, again,
you give me that offense at Ohio State, I'll call. I mean,
we could play call and win a national championship.
Will Howard, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Jeremiah Smith, Buka. Give me, I mean, it doesn't take be a couch coach on that one, and we could literally win a national championship with that offense. So I said it last week. Chip Kelly's been a failure in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He's starting off as a failure again. He literally had the good years at Oregon, but after that, what's he really done? Nothing. He got ran out of Philly. He got ran out of San Francisco, UCLA.
He's supposedly the godfather of this speed offense that has been figured out.
Yeah,
it's not even something that is novel anymore. Everybody does it.
Yep.
Yeah. When you leave UCLA as a head coach to take an offensive coordinator position, and UCLA is like, see ya.
Right.
I mean,
that says everything.
That says everything you need to know. I mean,
right.
Yeah, and I'll continue to say this throughout the season. Is there a chance the Raiders figure it out at some point this season on offense? Yeah, but by then it probably is going to be too late.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think the only salvageable thing is like, I don't know now. And again, it's 4 weeks in. I'll revisit this maybe in week 8. And that's probably when we're more or less of like, okay, well, we know exactly what's going to happen towards the end of the season by that time. Because right now, who knows? We can get hot or some teams get injured and we can get a couple of wins. Who knows? Maybe we start competing at 2-3 or get lucky and get to 500 somewhere along the way. And it's a tough schedule the rest of the way. Doesn't get any easier. I think that arguably the easiest part of the schedule was last week with the Bears, this week with the Colts technically, and then whatever else game we have now, week 6, I think, or whoever it is that we play then. So it's not any easier. It's only going to get tougher. These teams are only getting better as the season goes on. So we'll see. I think the Raiders have a lot to figure out. And this is what I was nervous about is like, look, Pete Carroll doesn't have a lot of seasons left. How many are we going to waste to figure it out? Before like, okay, we got to rebuild everything again. So.
Yeah. And if you go the second quarter of the season, 1-3 and you're 2-6, you're basically going to have to try to play spoiler the rest of the season because at 2-6, I'd imagine the Chiefs are going to be figured out as they're kind of warming up now. I'd like to think Denver has a nice stretch coming up after this weekend, and then the Chargers.
I mean, who knows what
we don't know with the Chargers right now, but if you're sitting 2-6, I mean, you can just chalk it up as well. Let's go try to do something in 2026.
And honestly, at this point, if it's not addressing the offensive line, then I don't know what else it is. So, All right. I think I'm done talking about the Raiders for right now. We'll circle back to that later. When we get to our predictions.
That was a second mini crash out. That wasn't too bad. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm working on it. All right. So speaking of you, we're actually going to now transition over to Austin's aerial attack. So Austin, here's your Seggy. Go ahead and take it away.
Yep. Austin's aerial attack. I wanted to go, again, I've said this before, I wanted to go Denver almost every week with this. But I'm actually not going to this week. I feel like playing against Jake Browning, it's a little asterisk. I mean, PS2 did kind of lock down Jamar, but did Jake Browning lock down Jamar more? So my Austin's aerial attack this week is actually going to go to the Texans. Okay. They shut out the Titans. I know Cam Ward's a rookie quarterback, but they still held him to under 100 pass yards, which at some point, I think Jake Browning had over 100 pass yards. Like, people can get 100 pass yards in the NFL these days. So holding a team, shutting them out, Texans needed something because they were going down the wrong path real quick. So that defense stepped up. I mean, Danielle Hunter had a couple sacks. Derek Stingley had an interception. They held Cam Ward to under 100 yards. So this week I'm going to give Texans just their whole defense some love. it takes a lot to shut a team out. It takes a lot to hold the team under 100 yards, no matter who the opponent is. Yes, you can say what you want about Cam Ward in that offense, but any offense at any point getting held to under 100 yards passing is impressive. So this week, all the love goes to the Texans. Obviously, I don't know how often they're going to put up numbers like that, but that defense is real. They're kind of needing to figure out offense, but this week their defense was lights out. They were literally shutting down anything the Titans wanted to do. So this week it just goes to the Texans.
That's a good one. Texans have a really good defense, like much better than their offense. I think we can agree. Like CJ Stroud, though, statistically 22 of 28, but it's against the Titans. So I don't know if that means anything, but Texans defense clearly carried that game. And I was actually saying that if the Texans offense can figure it out with that defense, they actually might be a dangerous team in the AFC. But now, like, you kind of wonder and I'm not trying to be flashy when I say this, but is CJ Stroud holding them back? And I don't know if that's the case, but offensively, they just don't look ready. But that defense, it travels.
It does. And I don't know if it's CJ Stroud. I mean, they traded Tunsil and they brought in Cam Robinson to be his replacement. And then they've already traded him.
Right. So, yeah, they traded him the next day, I think.
We've mentioned it with our own teams a lot. Like, we were worried about the Chiefs offense. I mean, we've seen the Super Bowls and what they've done. Like, you have to have an offensive line. That's where look at the Raiders. Like, they blocked a little better this week. So Genty actually had a decent game. Geno stayed clean. Like, I don't know what they're doing with their offensive line, but they are not like, did anyone see that Jeffrey Simmons sack?
Yeah.
He sacked CJ Stroud in like 0.1 seconds. They had 4 offensive linemen block 1 defensive end and let Jeffrey Simmons sack. It was literally like 0.2 seconds. If you haven't seen it, go watch that highlight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Wasn't it the Texans this offseason that traded Tunsil? Was that right? They traded Tunsil to the Commanders, their best tackle.
Yep. And then they brought in Cam Robinson to be an okay veteran replacement, but they've already traded him.
Yeah, I can't remember who they sent him to. I think it was the Browns.
I think it was the Browns, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sitting here saying CJ Stroud might be the MVP that he looked like he was going to be after last year, but it's one of those. It's kind of unfair to judge a quarterback when, like, you're running around all the time. It was the same thing with Caleb Williams last year. Really hard to get a gauge of where he's truly at when he can't even get to his drop back and he's running for his life. That's kind of CJ Stroud right now. He's also without Tank Dell. Nico Collins is hurt quite a bit. So, like, also without weapons. So I don't know if Stroud's holding him back, but they aren't doing him any favors. But yes, their defense is legit. Their defense will keep them probably competitive in a lot of games. Just because that defense is, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson. One of those pass rush duos that across the league. But yeah, this week they were dominant. I know it was a lackluster opponent, but those are still impressive numbers against any NFL team.
Yeah. It was 6-0 at the end of the third quarter. And
Joey Slye,
6-0.
6-0 after third quarter. Joey Slye had already missed 2 field goals, so it could have easily been 6-6. They put up 20 points in the fourth quarter. I don't know.
The defense won that game.
Yeah.
The defense won that game, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't pick your Chiefs, if I'm being honest, but
I was. I don't want to be a homer, and they still gave up 20 points, and they gave up that 70-yarder to a backup running back.
The game was out of hand. They're not going to tear a hamstring to chase him down.
Joshua Williams tried, though, but I'm still waiting for a little more dominant of a performance from the Chiefs defense before I give it to him. There was a couple bright spots. I think this was a good coming out game for Noel Williams, the rookie corner. There was bright spots, but I still want to see more dominance.
What are your thoughts, Cory?
I'll save the Chiefs game for mine. So,
okay. All right. Are we good on the aerial attack?
We are. I believe.
Right. I've been waiting for this because you texted this to us on Sunday, and I've been waiting for this since then. So, Cory's Crossfire. Cory, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, it's John Harbaugh. I got the box score up right here. Derrick Henry, 8 carries, 42 yards.
He had 4 carries for 32 yards in the first half. Like, your dude's averaging 8 yards a carry, and he gets 4 of them.
It's extremely skewed because the Ravens had 17 carries, 166 for 9.8 yards as a team. But as my brother alluded to 30 seconds ago, Justice Hill had that long touchdown run, so he had 3 for 76. So that take away that long run, then they're not like 8 carries for 42 yards. We literally just talked about this as we were previewing the game last week. I said, don't coach scared against the Chiefs. Don't try to out-coach the Chiefs. John Harbaugh seems to just – I don't know what it is when it comes to the Chiefs and when he sees Andy Reid on the other sideline. He kind of goes away from literally everything in what he's normally doing. There's no reason Derrick Henry shouldn't have had 20 carries
at halftime.
Lamar Jackson, 14 to 20, 147, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had the hamstring injury
and
the fumble. John Harbaugh, and we're going to talk about this here shortly, and I won't get too far into it, but it's downright embarrassing when you have a running back like Derrick Henry and you go up against the Chiefs. And again, I don't know if it's something in the air when he gets into Kansas City or when the Chiefs are on their field or what it is, but then he just all of a sudden feels like his team can do anything and everything that the Chiefs are doing. Chiefs can get by with not having a run game because they have a quarterback who can kind of, he can manage through this. Lamar is at his best when they're running the football, when he's able to run the football. When you have Derrick Henry getting 8 carries for 42 yards and he has 4 of those carries, I think on the first 2 drives of the game, that's half of his carries in the first 2 drives. It's a whole lot of football that he's not getting the ball. It's downright embarrassing. And if I was a Ravens fan, I would start clamoring for, is John Harbaugh the right guy for this? Is he the guy that can get us, it's not just the Chiefs now. You got the Bills, Bengals when Joe Burrow's healthy. There's so many different teams that you're chasing now. You needed this win in the worst way because, one, the Steelers are off to a 3-1 start, so they're already getting ahead. This is downright embarrassing. It's an embarrassing performance. 37-20 is definitely not indicative of how bad they actually looked. So good on the Chiefs the Chiefs just played their game. They played their brand. When they know when the Ravens are coming in, that the Ravens are going to go away from everything that the Ravens normally do. So I'm embarrassed for Baltimore fans because it is a really good franchise. They have really good players. We know their defense isn't the same as what we're accustomed to seeing of the Baltimore, but I think their defense can only do so much when you're not really helping them out often. I go back to week 1 when they had that 40-25 lead on the Bills in the fourth quarter. The defense did their part, but the offense didn't help them close out that game. And we all know how that ended. Matt Prater hit the game-winning field goal.
Westy Bestie.
So,
Westy Bestie.
Yeah, if I'm a Baltimore fan, I'm embarrassed for this team right now. I would start asking questions. Luckily, I'm not a Baltimore fan, but it is kind of annoying, again, to see a team who's beatable in the Chiefs right now. They have holes. They know they have holes. And you continue to play to their strengths. You continue season by season. You continue to play to the Chiefs' strengths. You refuse to use still the best running back in football.
Yep. Who
could easily handle his own. I don't know what else to say as far as John Harbaugh's got to start considering how he's calling games and how he's using his players. And if I'm the GM and I'm the front office, what's the point of going out and getting Derrick Henry if we're not going to utilize him against the teams that we really need to be utilizing him against?
Yeah, no, you think back to even in the Mahomes era, like the teams that do well against the Chiefs are ones people wouldn't expect, but like the Colts, even when the Colts weren't very good, they always had the Chiefs number because they would run Jonathan Taylor down our throat. The Titans with Vrabel because they would run Derrick Henry down our throat. It wasn't because those teams were stacked, but they did the one thing they should do. And we talked about it leading into this game. for some reason, I thought this was the one time that Baltimore would actually stick to what they should be doing. But you guys were spot on that just whatever it is, they don't do it. And I mean, at halftime, I went and looked to see how accurate we were, and it was Derrick Henry averaging 8 yards a carry, but it's only 4 carries at halftime. Like, I don't care who your opponent is. Derrick Henry's getting 4 carries on the first drive. Like, I'm setting that tone with my all-pro, one of the best running backs to ever play football. So, as a Chiefs fan, I'm glad they do it, but I'm a Cory on this one. If I'm a Ravens fan, Harbaugh has done a lot of good for us, but it's always how much good has he done for us lately? For years, they've been sitting behind the Chiefs, feel like they've underperformed. I mean, you got a quarterback who's won MVPs for regular season performances and then just disappears during postseason.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And that's what the Ravens are doing year after year right now.
Mm-hmm.
And is the change that needs to happen the head coach? I don't know. Like, something needs to change or the same thing's going to keep happening. And that's the cycle the Ravens are in right now for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
You can't keep doing the same thing and just expecting it's going to be better or different. It's wild to me because before the season, I would have had Harbaugh as one of the best coaches in football. And he still very well might be, but something's not on the right track there.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels weird to say it, but it's true. It's wild, but something does need to change if Baltimore doesn't want to keep doing this year after year.
Right. So I'm looking right now at basically the play-by-play scoring drives and all that, and it's worse than that. So the Ravens' second possession in the second quarter, it was about at the 10-minute mark when they got the ball. They had one rush with Derrick Henry for 11 yards, and he didn't touch the ball the rest of the half.
What? Yeah.
Yes.
Remember I told you about Gus Edwards in the playoffs?
Yes.
He had that 6-yard run, and then we never saw Gus Edwards again.
Yeah. So it's the Ravens' first possession of the second quarter. They were up 7-6, 1 point at this time. They had one 11-yard rush with Derrick Henry. The rest of the rush that quarter were from Lamar. And I remember because this game was on in my area. Majority of those were Lamar having to escape the pocket because of pressure coming from KC. No rush plays for the rest of Derrick Henry the rest of the second half, and it was still reasonable. Like, even after the Chiefs scored a touchdown, it was only 7-13, and then the Chiefs get up by more than 10 points. We talked about this. When the Chiefs get up to 10 plus points, that defense is built to just bend, don't break. The Ravens get panicky and they get into playing outside of what they're supposed to do. And I don't think Derrick Henry gets another rush until, let me see. His next rush isn't until, you're going to love this one. His next rush isn't until the Chiefs scored a touchdown in the second half. So that now the Ravens get the ball back with 11 and some change in the third quarter. That was Derrick Henry's next rush was for 5 yards. And then then he had another 4-yard one, another 3-yard one. Lamar was sacked, and then they kick a field goal. And that was the last time it looks like I see that he really was on the field to rush, because after that, the Chiefs ended the third quarter on a 6-minute drive. The Ravens turnover on downs in the fourth quarter. Chiefs touchdown, and we don't see Derrick Henry for the rest of the game. Yeah,
the thing I want to point out here is it's like they didn't go away from Derrick Henry because the game got out of hand quick, right? Like, Ravens led at halftime, and he still only had 4 carries. Yep. And then you led at halftime, and he still only had 4 more carries the rest of the game. Like,
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation any of us can have.
Right.
That makes sense on why he only had 4 carries a half. Even if he's slightly banged up, I'll take a 60% Derrick Henry over 95% at running back still.
Mm-hmm. He averaged 5.5 yards each carry.
Yeah.
So even in the 8, he averaged 5.5 yards. So he was penetrating, and had the Ravens relied on him, he probably would have worn down that defense, and they would have probably put more points up and helped that defense rest up to not stay on the field with Patrick Mahomes and all them, like having these 5-6 minute drives going on, which is wearing out that defense. Because when the Ravens only have the ball for a minute in 6 seconds and then, punted or turnover on downs, and that defense has to go right back on the field with no rest, how are you supposed to defend that? And that's essentially what the Ravens did. I don't know if Harbaugh's on the hot seat, because he reminds me a lot of the Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, where he's been there for so long. He's probably not going to go unless he says he's out of here. But I do think that there is something going on with that offense about why isn't Derrick Henry getting the ball in crucial time? Like second quarter, when you're driving, trying to put points up, why aren't we being aggressive and pounding the football? Why are we trying to throw this ball 60 yards when that's not our offense? Like, I guess we have Zay Flowers, but Lamar shouldn't be chucking it 50 yards every other down. He should be RPOs, give it to Derek, play action. Mark Andrews, very similar to what the first drive looked like for the Ravens that they scored on. If they played that game plan, they might have either come down to a last-second field goal or at least been closer, because the score is misleading. The score is showing 20-37. It was 37-13 for a majority of that fourth quarter. It wasn't until that breakout touchdown that it got a little closer. But even still, the game was out of hand. There was no reason for the Ravens to have any fight in there. And it was sad to see a Ravens team essentially be done in the third quarter of an AFC matchup game. Just completely tap out. And to Cory's point, Harbaugh, what are you doing? Like, how do you have your team roll out there and roll over? Like, I don't think I've seen that in a Ravens team in a long time, if ever. And the fact that they did it to an AFC rival who they're supposed to be the ones to knock off, I think the Ravens have regressed so much that, like, do we even trust them? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't even think they're going to come out of the North. So,
yeah, I think that's a good conversation to have now. Like, Steelers are winning their games that they're supposed to win. So they're off to the 3-1 start, whereas now you have Baltimore at the 1-3. No one's worried about the Browns or the Bengals. And Joe Burrow, by the time Joe Burrow comes back in December, I don't think they're going to have enough. If they trade for Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson,
not Russ. Jameis could.
Maybe. But I'm still, Steelers should walk away. But with the Steelers and Ravens, it's a little different because Harbaugh actually does what he's supposed to do. And those are the hard knock games of, smash mouth, old school football. But I don't know why he can't take that into a game against the Chiefs. They had no issues running the football with Derrick Henry against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no difference in sticking to your game plan. You hear me talk about Vance Joseph, call your damn game. Like, quit coaching scared. You can run the football with Derrick Henry against Buffalo. You can run Derrick Henry against the Steelers. But then when it comes to the Chiefs, you want to show that Lamar may be able to hang with Patrick. It's not about who can hang with who in those situations. Win the damn game, because then at the end of the day, you're still fighting for a seed in the playoffs. And now you're sitting here wondering, is Baltimore even going to get to that point? Especially if Lamar's going to end up missing a couple of games. Is Cooper Rush going to do it? I don't think, not with that defense.
Yeah, no.
So again,
no.
It's right there for you. You have no issues running Derrick Henry against literally every other team in the NFL, but you still refuse to try to get him established when you play against the Chiefs. And it just still blows my mind that he changes it up so much just for one team, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah. And I think too, what's interesting about it is I don't know what other excuses they have left to use. And I get it. Like 2 games in a row, Derrick Henry has fumbled the ball pivotal times. I get it. But he was also running it down their throats and scoring, keeping you in the game. So I would still take the chance of, like, Derrick, here's the ball, run, rather than like, well, we don't want him to give up the ball. Lamar gave up the ball twice. He threw an interception and he had a fumble. So what are we worried about? Like, the Chiefs are, yes, they're going to capitalize on it, but you need to come back and play your game, because I think the 1 or 2 games that I've seen the Chiefs lose to the Ravens beat them in the run game, and they just put pressure on them in that way. But I've never seen the Ravens air it out 50 times and beat the Chiefs. It's just not how they win football games. It's not how they're built. And I've never seen a Ravens offense that is built that way, and this one is not that. So I don't know why Harbaugh doesn't just, and I don't know if it's a coaching thing that Harbaugh is allowing his guys to do, and he's trusting that they figure it out. But at this point, like, time's running out. Like, Lamar's injured again. Derrick Henry, he's 30. He's not going to do this every single year that much longer. You got to capitalize on this. If this is really your year, where's that statement? Where's that identity? Because right now, like, it's piss poor defense and a really shitty run game because you won't use Derrick Henry. So I don't know. Ravens, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if we're now heading to a time of like where they are going to be at the bottom feeder of the teams and start over. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to just stick with my normal statement. Something has to change or the same thing's going to keep happening. Whether it's a small change like play calling, personnel change, coaching change, you have to make some kind of change if you want different results.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Chiefs get rocked by the Bucs in the Super Bowl. What'd they do? Spent every resource they had to change their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want the same results, so we made a change. We got rocked by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. We didn't make drastic changes, but we locked up Creed and Smith after that, drafted a first-round tackle, signed a tackle in free agency. Like, you can't just keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So unless Baltimore changes something, I'm no longer going to believe that they're going to do what they should do against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. Yep. Just stick to the plan, man. Just I don't get how you can. Okay, he's fumbled 3. I don't care. He's fumbled 3 straight games. It's still Derrick Henry. They're still. Mm-hmm. I would take. Give me Derrick Henry in Denver, then, please. Like,
yeah. No, Chiefs don't do that. We don't need that.
Chiefs don't run the ball very much, but we would still have more than 4 carries and a half of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid is smart enough to give him more than 4 carries.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not going to get like 20 carries and a half, but I promise you he's going to have more than 4 carries and a half. I can't make sense of it, and I'm done trying to make sense of it with Baltimore, because if they just do what they do, it goes against the Chiefs so well that, like, it's very easy that this matchup of the Ravens and Chiefs, Lamar versus Patrick,
mm-hmm.
It's so easy for the numbers could easily be flipped if the Ravens would just stay true to who they were in their matchups.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's that simple.
What did you have a last thought, Corey?
No, I think I've aired most of that out. Thank God I don't have to worry about the Ravens playing against the Chiefs again this season. So,
yep. All right, guys. So as we said at the top of the show, Matt is doing his Navy obligations, and he'll be back next week. So instead of having the MILF report, we are going to do a league recon. We're going to do a nice, fun little game of pretenders, contenders. So we're going to throw out some teams that we have, and we're going to tell you if we believe that they are contenders or pretenders. And then after this, we will have another segment and then our AFC West predictions. So stick around. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show if you're watching. And Tap says, Chiefs, boo. All right. Shout out to Tap 2. He was our giveaway winner with the merch. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hopefully you like it. All right, fellas, let's get going with contenders, pretenders. First team up, Indianapolis Colts. Do we think they're pretenders or contenders?
I'm going to go ahead and say they're contenders just based on that division. I do want to see how the Jaguars play against the Chiefs.
Yep.
Because I think if the Jaguars can get this one at home against the Chiefs to move to 4-1, I think things may get a little interesting. I know there's still a lot of division games that still need to be played there. But if the Jaguars can still continue to find ways to win, that does make things a little more interesting. We literally talked about the Texans before we got on here. Not with that offense. But then you have the Colts. And I was actually thinking about this quite a bit once I pitched this segment to you guys last night. I started thinking, when we were doing the Shovik Sports Show and Daniel Jones signed with the Colts, I believe he and Austin and I both were kind of on board of saying this signing could actually mean the Colts could actually catapult themselves into AFC South champion territory. Mm-hmm. Just based on what they had in Anthony Richardson, based on what Daniel Jones is able to do. And I think we're starting. They played the Rams okay, but you're going to have games. It's a long season. You're going to have games like that. But then you look at the whole scope of the AFC South. Even if they were to go 9-8, maybe even 8-9, 8-9-ish, I still think they would still be able to win the South. So I am going to go the Colts as a contender to get into the postseason. I'm not nothing more than
no Super Bowl
no,
run.
yeah, no. They do get into it because I've actually been real impressed with their defense as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this Jaguars-Chiefs game because what people aren't talking about enough right now is the Jaguars' defense. Their maybe yards per game and points per game aren't exactly lighting it up, but they are forcing turnovers at a historic rate right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can do that against the Chiefs and they get that lead against the Chiefs, where the script is flipped from what you usually say the Chiefs need to do, I'm curious. But for the Colts, I think they're contenders. Strictly again for playoffs. Daniel Jones is perfect for that offense. I think he'll be like an Alex Smith early on was with the Chiefs. He's just going to do what he's asked. He'll get you to the playoffs, but he's not going to make that Super Bowl run. Mm-hmm. He's going to take care of the football. He can make some plays, but they know Jonathan Taylor is their strength, so they play through him. They get that going, their play-action game with Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, that lights it up. And they honestly beat the Rams if A.D. Mitchell doesn't pull his Jonathan Taylor impression
right
and do all that. And he made one other mistake too. I can't remember, but
it was a holding call.
Yeah, it was a holding that took back Jonathan Taylor touchdown.
Yeah. So that's 14 points right there. So little mistakes like that, but I love their run game. They have a good enough defense these days. It's not as dominant as normal. And then you factor in the division, it's them and the Jags. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. And I lean more towards them just because I think they have more established on both sides of the ball right now. So I think they're contenders.
Here's what I'm going to say. I actually think they're pretenders, but I think that they have an opportunity to make a wild card because their schedule is super easy. And I'm going to tell you why. So they have the Cardinals after the Raiders. So I'm just going to say when we do our predictions at the end of the show, I'm already going to say it's not looking great for the Raiders. So they've got the Raiders next. They've got the Cardinals. This is the only tough matchup that they had is the Chargers. Following that, we have the Titans, Steelers, Falcons, Chiefs, Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks, Niners, Jaguars, Texans. That ends the season. So the next 3 weeks is going to be like where they're going to be sitting, assuming they win all 3 games, they'll be sitting at 6-1. And then they have a tough stretch with some real players in there that might level them out. And I just don't trust Shane Steichen. Daniel Jones, it's hard to say like, hey, it was the New York Jets or New York Giants, or it's him. I'm just going to say I don't trust Shane Steichen. We saw evidence of that when he barely beat the Broncos on a field goal, and that was a coaching mistake on him. He should have been a little bit more aggressive, trying to get more field position, and he got really lucky with a penalty that just sided with them. But ultimately, like, Shane Steichen didn't just wake up and become a good coach. I don't think that. At least a good head coach. So I just think that there are some things early on in the season that are working for the Colts. I think this magic is going to end in a couple of weeks. I think they'll be a pretty formidable team. I just don't believe in them. I don't think that they're a contender that's going to shock some people. I think they're shocking people right now because they're 3-1. I just don't believe that they are ready for that. And I think, again, Shane Steichen, I don't think he's that good of a head coach. I didn't think he was before, and I don't think that this is going to change my mind on that. So I'm just going to say pretenders on the Colts.
So you trust the Jaguars and Liam Cohen is what you're saying a little bit more?
I trust the Texans, and I would trust the Jaguars over the Colts only because like Texans defense helped win them that game. Who knows what their offense will look like later on in the season? Maybe they figure out their woes. Something about Shane Steichen, I don't trust. Liam Cohen, who knows? We don't know. They're playing pretty good, all things considered, for the first 4 weeks. It's not bad. Texans, though, I don't know. This whole division is weak in general. Like, really, it's an any man's race outside of, I don't even know who the 4th team is in the division. The Titans, sorry. So sorry, Blaine Bishop. We just had him on and we're like, who's the fourth team? Yeah, so sorry. But I don't know. Like, and again, a lot of it is coaching. Like, I do think that teams crumble if they don't have great coaches. So it's great early success. I just don't know if it's going to continue. And I would trust, like, if the Texans get on a run, let's say the Jaguars get on a run offensively, I think I would trust them a little bit more than I would the Colts.
I think you look at it two ways. You have to win these games that you're supposed to win. So you need to sweep the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are two games you have to win. You have to beat the Raiders because they're down right now. So they're getting the Raiders at the right time.
Right.
Don't be the reason that the Raiders can maybe, get a little breath of life in them. And then you need to do your damnedest to try to split with the Texans and the Jaguars, or maybe surprise some people and get a sweep of one of those two teams.
Right.
But at worst, you have to be able to split. Don't get swept by either one of those, because you're doing a nice job right now of building some cushion to where your margin of error is better. So you have that little wiggle room of, let's say the Chiefs would have lost to the Ravens and then now they're 1-3, right? Now their margin of error shrunk so much because even though the Chargers lost, they're 3-1, but they're still having that cushion there. So we talk about it a lot in most sports, is how can you get that lead? We're already a quarter of the season in, right? So you kind of look at the scope. And a lot of teams, it's the first 3 to 4 weeks is kind of, they're getting back in the groove. Now this is when the season truly starts. This is now you're getting into the grind of it. You're doing this thing. So I look at it as you got to sweep the Titans for sure, beat the teams that you're supposed to, and then no worse split with the Texans and the Jags, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Also, too, I do want to point out that the game that they lost against the Rams, granted, it was close. The Colts, kind of lost the lead, but they were keeping up with the Rams. I do want to point out this is the first, I would say, real team that they've played outside of the Broncos. And Daniel Jones had 2 turnovers. Also, there was a fumble from Mitchell, and the Rams played clean football. And I believe, and I think you guys would agree, that the Rams are a contender in the NFC for sure.
100%.
And to me, the Colts, if they're going to have to be contenders, they're going to have to play teams in the AFC that are like the Rams, in my opinion, and they couldn't hang towards the end. Like, the better team pulled away. That's why I don't know if the Colts, if I believe in them or if I think that they're contenders, because once you got a team that is actually putting pressure and can keep up with you, like, sure, you scored, we can come right back and score. You can see that they weren't able to keep up. So that's why I think, like, I don't know if I can trust the Colts right now, just because of that factor.
There's only one team better than the Rams in the AFC, so I think it's a good measuring stick for them. I think the Bills are the only team better than the Rams in the AFC.
Sure, but I mean, again, my point being is, like, they had multiple turnovers. It's not like it was like shot for shot, like, they were keeping up with them in that sense. It was just like, in my opinion, and again, and I'm speaking to this because, as we talked about, my Raiders had 4 turnovers. You can't do that to a team like the Bears, and they will find a way to win because you give them that many opportunities. The Rams, you cannot allow yourself to be that careless with carrying the ball, throwing interceptions. You have to play nearly perfect football against teams like that. And I don't think Shane Steichen is the coach that coaches perfect football like a Sean McVay, like Sean, who's the other guy? The Bills head coach, excuse me.
McDermott.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, coaches like that. I just don't think Shane Steichen keep up.
That good. I think they're just, right now, they're my favorite for their division. And that's the only reason I put them as contenders. But
I mean, that's like saying the Steelers are the favorite because they have the better record. Like, sure, but the division's also kind of upside down right now with injuries and how that, has been playing. So
yeah, I don't think the Colts are dangerous by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think they win that division. And that's the only reason I would put them as contenders. I'm not putting them on any of those levels because almost all your points, but it's one of those, we talk about divisions, right? Like, I don't, the Texans, I love their defense, but their offense is going to lose games for them. Like,
right.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's going to be Colts and Jags. I'm the opposite. The Jags have Jaguared so hard for the last 4 or 5 years that it's hard for me to trust them.
Sure.
Same with the Colts though, but I don't know. I trust the Jonathan Taylor-esque offense. That's where I'm at. This team is not going to win a Super Bowl.
No.
We'll say that.
But I think just can get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they do get into the playoffs though.
Yeah, but again, like what we're talking about, by default, almost, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to punish them for being able to handle business.
Yeah,
well, I don't know if they're handling business, just their other teams aren't.
So the games that they got to win.
Yeah, if they win their division, they handled enough business.
Yeah,
sure.
They may not be making a profit, but they're keeping the lights on.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul. I got you.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the next team. Pretender, contender. This one is in the NFC. We got the Seahawks. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm going pretender. I like the NFC, not as a whole, but I think when you look at the Seahawks, you look at the division, you look at the Rams, what the Rams are able to do. If the 49ers can never get healthy again, I still do like the 49ers, though they did win games with Mac Jones as a quarterback. So Christian McCaffrey's looked really well. How long that lasts, we don't know.
Receiver one, baby.
But then you look at the whole NFC, like as a whole, Philly, then you look Commanders. I'm not going to put too much. I mean, Dallas, if Dallas' offense can continue to look this way, I think adding Jadeveon Clowney, he looked really good the other night. They're not going to be able to get by giving up 40 points a game, but so I'm keeping Cowboys kind of in the back of my mind just to kind of see, because I actually kind of like what Schottenheimer's doing with that offense. Dak's looking comfortable. Javonte Williams is looking really good running the football. So again, I'm going pretenders for the Seahawks just because I think the NFC is going to be real top heavy. And I don't know where to put the 49ers. And I think with the 49ers being there, it's going to be the Niners and Rams out of that division. I just don't think they'll get 3 out of there.
Yeah, I'll make this quick since this over an hour already. I think they're pretenders. I think both wild cards come out of the NFC North. I think Packers, Lions, and Vikings all make the playoffs. So if I think the 2 wild cards are in the North, that means I need to think the Seahawks win their division. I don't think they do that. I think Rams, just given the injuries to the Niners, Rams walk away with that division. So just with that breakdown, I don't think Seahawks make the playoffs. Therefore, I think they're pretenders.
I think I would consider them more contenders than the Colts that we just talked about, just because I think I like them as a team, but I kind of agree. I think they're in the wrong conference. In the NFC, there's too many good teams ahead of them in other parts of the division. Like we can definitely see maybe another team out of the NFC West come out into the wild card, or the North. Heck, maybe even the South. I know we were talking about the Falcons and the Bucks, and who knows, maybe they win enough to where one of them sneaks into one of the 3 wild cards. But I'm gonna agree. I think the Seahawks are pretenders, unfortunately. So
Falcons aren't making the playoffs.
No, I'm just saying, who knows?
7 seed if they get that 10 win range, that'll put them in the race.
Maybe,
but
I mean, I still think it's Vikings and Packers and Lions, and I think the Commanders make a wild card.
I don't see, if we said Vikings, I don't even know if I would consider them contenders because their quarterback situation is questionable right now.
You know how I feel about.
I know you do, but he was injured. Carson Wentz. Sure, but I mean, you can't just rely on everything on defense. Like, you got to have an offense. You got to score points.
I know.
All right, so 2 more teams. This one is again still in the NFC. Packers let the Cowboys drop 40 on them in overtime, and they tied, which sucks. We need to change those rules again.
I still like the Packers. I think.
Okay, you're saying contenders.
I am, and I still think that their defense is going to be fine. It's just kind of one of those one-offs, which, again, I like what the Cowboys offense is doing. I just don't know if their defense is going to be able to sustain enough as far as, being in that playoff talk right now. But I saw a lot of good from the Jordan Love. I still like Jordan Love. I know there's a lot of question marks about Jordan Love and what people are saying about Jordan Love. But I think the Packers are going to be fine. I don't think they're going to win this division. I still think the Lions, I know they already have the head-to-head. They're one up on the Lions as far as they've beat the Lions already. But we've seen what the Lions have started to do. But yeah, no, I like the Packers. I don't think this is the year for the Super Bowl unless they clean a few things up. But I do like the Micah Parsons addition. I do think their defense is fast. I like what they have on the edges. The secondary is still obviously a little shaky, but yeah, give me the Packers. Give me the Packers as a contender.
Yeah, contender.
I'll say contender. I mean, I'd like to think that this was a game where they kind of came back to reality and they weren't high on themselves because they seemed very arrogant. Like 2 weeks of like playing top-notch defense, and they were like, "Oh, we have this thing unlocked." And I think Cowboys kind of served them up to be humble. And then obviously, what was the game where they lost? I think it was last week. Forgetting the team that they played. The Browns. The Browns served them up some humble pie too. So I think the Packers hopefully are like no longer kind of feeling themselves and maybe now are going to respect opponents. And if they do that, I think that they'll be I see them as real contenders in the NFC as well, especially when Micah Parsons starts kind of like coming to form. I think I don't even think Micah's hit his real stride yet. So
no.
All right, final team that we have, which we should do more of these because we could go on and on. Final team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Do we think they're pretenders or contenders? Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they'll make the playoffs just because they're going to walk away with that division, but I don't think they're a relevant playoff run team. So half contender, half pretender. Like, yeah, they'll make the playoffs, but kind of like you said about the Colts, my feeling on the Colts, like they're kind of going to make it by default.
Right.
But I think if this was a normal year for that division, the Bengals and Ravens would be light years better than the Steelers team.
Yeah.
So I think by default, they're going to get in the playoffs, but I wouldn't be worried about them.
I think if the Steelers get into the playoffs, I think they're good enough where they may be able to win one game in the playoffs. Just because I'm starting to like this Rodgers DK. It kind of makes me wish they would have teamed up, sooner.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird seeing, again, we talked about the Ravens defense not being very good. The Steelers defense is kind of looking slow as well. But yeah, I like them as a contender. Again, I think like you were saying by default, but I actually do like if they do get into the playoff, I do like them to be maybe an upset in that first game.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are for sure pretenders, and they're only if they do get in the playoffs, it's because they won the division. And I think honestly, 8 wins is probably going to win this division because here are the wins that the Steelers have. Their standings are very elusive. They're 3-1. Their loss is against the Buccaneers. And it is 3 points. Their wins are against the Jaguars, the Panthers, and the Jets. No, that's preseason. I'm so sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing. So they've beaten the Jets. They've lost to the Seahawks. They've beaten the Patriots. And they beat the Vikings, of course. So that makes them 3-1. That was an international game. I could make an argument that they could have lost that Vikings game had the Vikings been healthy and not had Carson Wentz as a quarterback. I think that the Steelers are probably going to win 8 games, win the division, and then they're in. And then they got to face a team like the Bills, or the Chiefs, who are going to just run roughshod on them. And then that's that.
They're going to be they're probably going to be the number 4 seed,
right,
of the division winners, which means they'll play the best wild card team. And right now, we got to think that's going to be the Chiefs, Chargers, or Broncos. Like whoever doesn't win the division, then the other 2 teams are going to be the best wild card team. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but I'm taking Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos to absolutely demolish the Steelers team.
Well, yeah, I'm not. I don't know if Denver has demolish is kind of a strong word, but
I just think they're still a better team, though. Like, I don't think this Steelers team is very good at all.
I don't think this. Yeah, I think this record is misleading because I think their defense is shaky at best. Like, it's okay. I'm not banking on them to win them games because I don't even think they have TJ Watt yet, right? He's still injured.
He's been playing.
Oh, has he? Okay. I mean, so sorry. Maybe then I don't see him wrecking plays like he used to. But also, too, Aaron Rodgers only thrown for 220 yards. They don't have a run game. So they're just kind of beating people or the weaker teams, which I guess that's what they're supposed to do. But I don't think that this Steelers team would have been anywhere close, to your credit, Austin, if the Ravens were playing up to their potential or the Bengals were healthy. I think the Steelers would probably be third place, if I'm being honest. So
I agree.
All right, guys. So that was our league recon. We have one last segment and then predictions coming up. So we are going to be doing our Fantasy Frenzy, sponsored by JBW Solutions. Again, you guys are watching us right now in the JBW Solutions studios. Thank you to Jeff and the crew. Visit JBW Solutions LLC.com for safety and all things OSHA compliance for your business. All right, guys. Sleepers and busts. Cory, who you got for your sleeper, and who do you have for your bust?
So for my sleeper, I kind of like Justin Fields because again, it's fantasy, and he brings the running aspect to it, and he actually had a really good game last week, even though they lost, but he was still able. I think he's projected at 19, almost 20 points this week. So I actually tried to get him. I put a waiver claim in for him, and I didn't get him. I don't remember who got him, but FU. Because I really wanted to play Justin Fields because I like that aspect of the running. And
I also tried to pick him up.
Yeah. So,
I didn't get him.
Justin Fields is my sleeper. And then do you want us to do our bust now as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going with, I had this earlier. Sorry about that. Let me pull my thing up real quick. I was going with, I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Jalen Hurts. Denver's got it. Let's go.
Tush push, man.
I'm so hyped for this game.
Tush push, buddy. All right. It's going to be a good game, and we're going to talk predictions after this segment. So, okay, so you have sleeper is Justin Fields, and you have bust as Jalen Hurts, yeah?
Yes, sir.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off.
I mean, I hope people take that clip of me saying that and then just troll me next week because it'll be well deserved. But if I'm right, you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Austin, who's your sleeper and bust?
All right. So my sleeper is going to be Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Kind of still iffy, but he had a good game last week, and there's a little bit of a revenge factor going up against the Bills this week. I still think the Patriots get slobbered. Like they're gonna just, it's not gonna be pretty.
You say that, and the Bills just struggled against the Saints.
Saints have a good defense still.
Did they struggle, or did they just not try that hard?
I think it's a little of both, but Saints still have a decent defense. But the Bills' defense has holes, is where I'm going with this. So I think the Patriots are going to easily be able to win, but I think Patriots are going to be playing from behind. So from a fantasy aspect, I think Diggs is going to exceed his projections. Just given last game, there's a little chemistry that was built with him in May. Bills have a little bit of still have some holes in the secondary. I mean, Spencer Rattler was able to do some things, which is weird to say. And then, a little revenge factor. So he's my sleeper. I could be saying that because I'm starting in this week.
Okay.
So, my bust, it's a hard one for me because I don't know if we can consider it a bust, but he's still projected extremely high. And for me, it's going to be Jamar Chase.
Oh, I mean, honestly, he's kind of like, if you're wondering if you should start him or sit him, he probably should be thought of to maybe sit just because
you have to start him because he was probably your first or second pick.
Right.
So you kind of have to, but at the same time, he's still projected in PPR leagues almost 20 points, and he's not getting that unless there's a couple touchdowns. And I don't know if Browning's going to toss a couple touchdowns, truth be told. So, that's one that could blow up in my face. But right now, I don't trust him to get to 20 points a week.
Well, first off, who are the Bengals playing?
Doesn't matter anymore.
Let's see, because I have Chase on a team. They're going against Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, Jake Browning struggled against the Broncos. I'm not saying that the Broncos or the Lions have a better defense than one or the other, but I would say that they're similar. And I don't think if Jake Browning can barely get 100 passing yards, I don't know how much more he's going to get against the Lions. So, and also when the Lions are blowing out the Bengals, are they going to want Jamar Chase running routes for meaningless football? I don't know either. So It's an interesting one.
We know the Bengals aren't going to stop the Lions. We can also chalk that one up.
Yeah, we can agree
game
to that.
ugly fast.
Yeah, because I can say that the Lions do have a better offense than the Broncos right now.
Sure.
So
and the Lions pass rush is,
and they have the two-headed running back.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly, but
Sonic and Knuckles can't stop them.
Yeah, the Lions pass rush is probably a little better than Denver as a group. I still think Benito and Cooper solo are better, but Detroit also gets a lot of pressure up the middle and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Denver's secondary is a lot better than Detroit. So, I mean, if the Bengals' terrible offensive line can block for a little bit, maybe Jamar goes off. But right now, he's still a great receiver. It's not against him. I'm strictly thinking he's not getting his fantasy projections or even close.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. My sleeper, Jackson Dart. I think he had a really good showing against the Chargers. I think what I'm concerned with is Malik Neighbors isn't there, but honestly, with the rushing ability that I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually think that the Giants have a decent receiving core that could be productive, and they're not going to win games, but I think there's enough production there where you can trust to start Jackson Dart and get some good production out of that. So Dart is my sleeper. My bust, unfortunately, is a former Raider, Darren Waller. Everyone all of a sudden wants to add him. I would not do it right now. He had 1 good game against a poor defense. Will he be featured in the offense? I think he will, but I would not go and add him right now because he's injury prone. He started the season injured. He ended his Raiders career injured. He's an injury prone player. I would just be very cautious if you add him. So he would be my bust if you are picking him up and you're starting him. So that's my sleeper and my bust.
That's a tough one for me. I agree with what you're saying, but tight end is such a weak position.
Yeah.
And I do think he's only projected 7 or 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
He might get more targets and he might get, maybe in the red zone, he's probably going to see a lot more action than just, standard drives in the middle of the field. But he had a score, and obviously Darren Waller early in his career when he was with the Raiders, fantasy, player that you wanted to have. I'm just afraid people are going to hold on to okay, I seen 1 good game where he caught a touchdown. Now let's all add him. Cause again, like you said, the tight end position is very weak. I need a tight end desperately. He fits the bill. I would just be very cautious if you're adding him and you can get somebody else like a Dalton Schultz. I would probably trust a little bit more because he gets
Hunter Henry still out there.
If Hunter Henry's out there, I think that one's a better pickup than if you were to go Darren Waller.
60% of the leagues, which is wild to me, Hunter Henry. So I agree with that. I think he could get to his projections just given Tyreek went down and Waller's about the only red zone threat. But I agree. Don't look to Darren Waller to be your long season success either.
Right.
It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
But enjoy him for a couple weeks if you can, I guess.
Or maybe this week only. Again, he's injury prone, guys. Yeah. All right. So we're going to close the segment that was sponsored by JBW Solutions. So now we are going to do our rapid fire AFC West week 5 predictions. Guys, let's go rapid fire. Just tell me a team. I'll jot it down. We'll keep track of it as usual. We're going to start off with the Broncos and Eagles. Corey, who you got?
It's the goddamn Broncos.
Oh, I thought you were going to go.
Okay. I shouldn't, but I'm not going against the Broncos this week because let's face it. Philly's looked okay, right?
Okay.
Go on the road. Give the Eagles their first loss. Let's go.
Is this in Philly?
Next week.
That wasn't rapid fire.
Is this in Philly?
It is.
Ooh, okay. Austin?
Yeah, give me the Eagles.
Eagles? Sorry, Corey. I'm going to go Eagles on this one. This is at home in Philly. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Eagles defense travels and they're at home, so this is even tougher. All right, next up, we got the Chiefs. Austin, who you got?
Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. We're picking the Chiefs. All right. Corey?
Shit.
This Monday Night Football. Just a reminder. Is this in Jacksonville?
It is in Jacksonville. Give me the Jaguars.
Oh, this is a tough one, man.
It's not as tough as you guys are making it.
It really isn't, but
yeah, you know what?
I'm going to go
Chiefs. I think they're going to take care of business. I just hope it's not a blowout. Then it's going to be a really bad game. All right. Next, Chargers and Commanders. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say Commanders. Meg in the comments earlier had said that Janian Daniels is returning this week, and that is going to sway my decision. So I'm going Chargers, or I'm going Commanders. Sorry, Commanders.
You can't go both.
Yeah, that's cheating.
I'm going to hedge my bets. I want both teams, please.
Yeah, Commanders.
Commanders. Who do you got?
Last week was the beginning of the Chargers charging for a stretch. So.
You know what's tough? They just lost Alt for several weeks. They lost Becton, I think, for a couple of weeks now.
Both tackled now.
One of their backup guards is injured as well. So they're going through injuries in the wrong positions.
Yep.
So I think you're right. This is going to be a tough road the rest of the season for them. Corey, who you got?
I got him going Commanders.
So it's a sweep on the Commanders?
Yep.
Oh, guys, I can already tell we're going to lose that one.
Yeah.
That's
obviously we'll save everyone the time. Everyone's going Colts on this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even myself. That's about as rapid fire as we can get on that one.
That's about as rapid fire as it gets right there. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I got them jotted down. We're going to give you guys updates throughout the week. Of course, we've been keeping up with AFC West predictions. I don't even know who's in the lead right now, but
it's not me.
It's me.
Is it you?
It is me.
I think is it Matt that's keeping up with it?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I know.
Have we posted updates yet?
No, that'll be tomorrow. I posted before the Thursday games start.
All right, because I think I did like 3 and no, I went 2 and 2. I think
I went 3 and 1 last week.
Nice, very
nice. I want to
nice.
pick the Jags because Chiefs have been winning when I pick against them, but
yeah, see, that's no, pick your team. Well, I'm not picking my team, but that's because they haven't won anything. So
yeah, no, it'll be good. It's a good slate of games minus the Colts Raiders, honestly.
I hope Max Crosby just absolutely devours Danny Dimes.
So Danny Dimes lays a shoulder into him.
I mean,
no, I don't think that will happen.
I'm a Danny Dimes truther, but let's be real. Max Crosby will keep them in the game.
And then Jonathan Taylor is going to
run it down.
Yeah. I was going to say, what's the line at for Jonathan Taylor? It's got to be at like 90 yards is the start.
I'm taking him over 120.
Yeah. 140 and a couple of touchdowns, I think. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, that is it for us. We're just chit-chatting at this point. So we really appreciate you guys staying and sticking around and watching West War Room Rivals. I do
want my brother to go through this October lineup that he sent to us earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Except October 10th, we're still keeping that as a surprise for now, but I do want him to kind of lay out what we have coming up in October. And those of you that have been with us since we started this show not too long ago, think of the guests that we've had and just listen to what we have coming up. And if you're not believing in the show yet, I want you guys to start believing in it now. And I want you guys to make sure that you're spreading the word on what we have coming up.
Yeah, so we actually it's going to line up perfectly. I was able to get a former Jags legend for the day after the Chiefs-Jaguars Monday night game. We're going to have Jimmy Smith coming on the day after the Chiefs-Jags game. So I really hope Chiefs don't let me down. Then a few days after that, we have the surprise guest. We're not going to share that yet, but just know.
It has been confirmed, so we got confirmation that they're still good for the 10th.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening. We don't want to share yet, but just know you don't want to miss it. Spread the word that the West War Room is going to have just some dope people on the show with us. You don't want to miss it. Then the following Tuesday for Raider Week, Chiefs Raiders play that next week. Damn, did we play that quick, Cody?
We do.
Yeah, because it's week 5 now. We're at week 7. So yeah, next week and then the week following.
Yeah. So then, we have former Chiefs linebacker Kawika Mitchell.
Let's go.
He won a Super Bowl with the Giants. He didn't win one with the Chiefs during those times. We remember the Chiefs during those days. But one hell of a linebacker. He was, I don't want to over-exaggerate it, but he was one of the best college linebackers to ever play. The things he did at college, unbelievable, and then turned into just an outstanding professional linebacker. And then a week after that, we have former Titans Oilers receiver Kevin Dyson.
And we just had his teammate on last night, Blaine Bishop. So
yeah, Kevin Dyson may be known for all the wrong reasons. Hell of a receiver, though.
100%. Man, that's a great October lineup. And to think, like, I think you and Matt are still adding to some of those dates. And then November, I think you guys are already starting to fill up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, to keep our schedule how we want, we're going to have hopefully one more confirmed guest at the end of October, but we're already booking into November and December. We have a couple December ones already, a few November ones, but this October one, no matter who we add to that one last date that we have open, it's going to be just unreal.
Yeah. It's been an unreal ride in September. We had such great guests. And then we texted about this, and we'll probably post about it tomorrow. But, man, October lineup, it's here. It's going to be awesome.
And I want everyone to make sure you guys go back. We had Blaine Bishop last night. It was about a 25-minute conversation with him. It was absolutely outstanding. Talked about the Music City Miracle, and then just talked about, Carl Pickens obviously is on our show a couple times and friend of the show. So we talked about his matchups and going up against him. It's his 12-foot selfie, called it 12-foot.
Yeah.
And then last week we were able to have Christian Okoye on for a few minutes before he got into college football with some of his friends and family. So those two guys alone were short conversations, but they were really, truly great because we were able to pack in so much in those short conversations. I truly would like everyone to go watch those and just see how these guys are on our show and what it means to us and to them, because you can tell just by how they're talking and how they're answering questions that they are enjoying it. And I know both of them would have loved to have more time. It's just how it falls. Sometimes we can't always have them on for the hour that we want them. But again, that's just more reasons to go hit the subscribe button, especially with the lineup we have coming up in the next few weeks. And like they said, we have up into December already with guests. So weird, wild. It's almost the end of the year.
For real.
But again, hit that like button, subscribe, and then find us on socials. Are we at 1K yet on Instagram?
Not yet. I think we're about 50 people away.
We're about 50 people away. We're almost there.
Cody, take us home.
All right. Well, now it's my favorite part of the show where I get to thank all of our partners, and the Shovik brothers laugh at me because I always get this wrong. I'm going to start off by thanking Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Thank you guys. Yeah. In fact, I did a recording on this, so I should have nailed it before. Anyways, we want to thank our partners at the credit union for being the Shovik's banking of choice and also being partners with the War Room. We want to thank Troy over there at Field Ops. Go to gofieldops.com/Kansas. They'll give you guys field markings for your leagues or your games in the greater Kansas area. So go check them out. We want to give a special shout out to Homage. So go visit them down below. They got great retro apparel with licensing with the NBA, NFL, NHL, college football. They also have retro TV, all that good stuff. Go ahead.
And make sure you use our link. They got them starter jackets back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They look sick.
Yeah.
They got those starter jacket back. So make sure you guys go check those out.
That's right. Special link down below to click on. Visit the Beard Club as well. We've got the magnificent Beard himself over there with Austin. He keeps it looking fresh by using Beard Club. Also, Shank It Golf, our official golf partners of the War Room. Thank you so much for that. And our biggest one yet, our special one. Well, we have two special ones. Badger Barrel for the smokers. If you guys have not gotten your smoker for the NFL season, please go pick it up at Badger Barrel. Special link down below specifically for you guys to go get yourselves your own smoker, which, by the way, weekends now, I only use the smoker, and it's phenomenal. I'm so thankful that we got one of these, and everyone needs to have one in their household. It's a requirement from here on out. So, and the menu, we haven't even figured out a menu yet. So that's coming soon. So lastly, our biggest one of all, thank you so much for JBW Solutions. Again, go visit JBW Solutions LLC.com to get all safety training for your business, everything OSHA compliant, because that is a huge one around these times to make sure that your business is safe and your employees and you stay compliant. And we want to thank Jeff for being such a great partner with us. Thank you so much for visiting us at the JBW Solutions Studios. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, X, you name it, we're there. Anything else, boys, before we go?
Crushed it.
Go Broncos.
Boo. All right, guys. See you next time.